To consider estimates of revenue and expenditure, including capital and constitutional and statutory expenditure. The head that's under consideration is Head 91, that's the Copperbelt province, and on the floor of the House before the break was Mr. Luboja of Chifuru constituency debating Head 91, Copperbelt province.
So other heads to be considered Head 94, Western Province, Head 95, Eastern Province, Head 96, Luapula Province, Head 97, Northwestern Province, Head 98, Southern Province, and Head 99, Constitutional and Statutory Expenditure. So the House has so far adopted the report of the Committee on Transport, Works and Supply on the Lobito Corridor Transport Facilitation. Transport Works and Supply on the Lobito Corridor Transport Facilitation Agreement for the third session of the 13th National Assembly laid on the table of the House on Wednesday, 13th of December 2023. So right now bills are ringing. Remember, according to the standard practice, there must be 1/3 of members of Parliament in order for business to be transacted.
Order. When business was suspended, the Committee of Supply was considering heads 91, 94, 95, 96, 97, and 98, and the Honorable Member for Chifubu was debating. May the Honorable Member continue.
Thank you, Madam Chairperson. On the mining activities, I ended up on talking about the dump sites. We have a lot of dump sites on the Copperbelt in Luansha, Mufulira, Chingola. We want these that were not opened up apart from the Black Mountain that was given. We want these also to be opened up and be given to our people on the Copperbelt. And please let the concept change, not like the way it was done to the Black Mountain, where when the consortium that was given the opportunity to handle the Black Mountain, they sold the Black Mountain on raw material. We want them to do value addition so that they can create employment and employ other youths and amplify on the economic activities on the Copperbelt. Apart from this,
Order. ICT. We are not following on time. Can you please rectify the problem? Honorable Member, you may continue.
Thank you. Thank you. We also want to urge the provincial administration to sit with the mining companies that are on the Copperbelt, please to extend or embark on the corporate social responsibility by sponsoring the sports activities as was the case in the past when as a country we ran these mines. We had a lot of sports activities that were being sponsored by the mines, particularly football. In Luansha, we had Stylish Loan United. In Kitwe, we had Aba Red, in Kana Red Devils, Mighty Mufulira and forests on the Copperbelt. We have shrinking space for development on the Copperbelt. Most of the mining towns on the Copperbelt, they are surrounded by forests. We have no room for expansion. Our humble appeal through the provincial administration to ask for degazetting some of these forests so that we can create space for what? For development on the Copperbelt. We struggled even to find the space to build the cancer clinic on the Copperbelt. Even where it is built inside the forest. So if we can create space where we can do mining activities, we can also expand our economic activities on the Copperbelt. This is also going to help, and it will also empower our people on the Copperbelt with the housing units. Thank you. These forests, to a certain extent,
You can
they are-
wind up, Honorable Member. You've only got less than a minute.
Okay, thank you so much, Madam Chairperson. I also want to urge the provincial administration that we have challenges as members of parliament on the Copperbelt. As we are talking now, we have a lot of money sitting in councils
Please wind up because your time is up.
because of the inertia of CDF. The councils are not speeding up their activities and paying contractors on time so that the members of parliament in various activities, in various constituencies, they are able to utilize the money. As we are talking now, we have a lot of money. With these few remarks, I support the aid on Copperbelt. Thank you.
Thank you. The clerks at the table are keeping track of the time manually. So we'll move to the next one, Mr. Mwila.
Madam Chairperson, I want to thank you for this opportunity to debate this vote. Of course, we, the people of Mufrira, coming from the Copperbelt, support the budget allocation to the Copperbelt Provincial Administration. Madam Speaker, I looked at the mandate that the Provincial Administration has in terms of administering the province and its connection to the central government. The mandate is to provide administrative secretariat, effective coordination and implementation of national programs. Madam Speaker, further, when I looked at the strategy that the Copperbelt Provincial Administration has for 2024, as stated in the policy statement, is to enhance investment in the province, and they have highlighted the priority sectors. But Madam Chairperson, I was just surprised that when I looked at the priority sectors that the provincial administration has for 2024, they highlighted agriculture, tourism, and infrastructure. Now, Madam Chairperson, the Copperbelt is the Copperbelt because of copper and mining activities. So for me to see that the priority sectors for the province excludes mining as listed only agriculture, tourism, and infrastructure, I get worried, Madam Speaker, because out of the 10 towns on the Copperbelt, 7 of them are mining towns and they survive on mining. 70% of the province survives on mining. The reason we are seeing high levels of poverty on the Copperbelt, the reason we are seeing high levels of destitution, it's because the mining sector has been limping. And so I was expecting to see, as highlighted, among the priority sectors for the province, to include mining. We have Mopani sitting in Kitwe and Mufrira. We have KCM sitting in Chingola, in Chirirabombwe. We also have mining in Rwansha. So we cannot relegate the mining sector on the Copperbelt not to be among the priority sectors. I wish to advise the provincial administration to relook at this and get involved to see the activities that the mining companies on the Copperbelt are doing. Because everything that goes on in the Copperbelt is connected to mining. Either someone is directly employed by the mining company, or is employed by the contractor, or is the supplier to the mining sector. So when the mine is limping, that is why we are seeing a lot of suffering on the Copperbelt, because there is no income. Life on the Copperbelt, Madam Chairperson, is about money in the pocket at the end of the day. People have to meet the daily needs. They have to pay rent. They have to buy food. They have to meet the daily needs. And all they need is income generation. And so we need to prioritize activities in the mining sector on the Copperbelt. Madam Speaker, let me move on to agriculture. Of course, I was happy reading in the Yellow Book what the provincial administration is intending to do in terms of agriculture. What we are seeing now on the Copperbelt as far as agriculture is concerned could actually be higher. The problem that hinders investment in agriculture, especially by the small-scale farmers, is lack of security on title. Madam Chairperson, a lot of people on the Copperbelt own small-scale, farms, but what hinders them is that they lack title. They would like to have title so that they can invest even more than they have now. And something that also irritates, these small-scale farmers, because they don't have title, They may have been farming on that land for so many years. The next thing they just see people coming with title in their hands that they have bought this land, displacing people who may have been on that land for 20 years, even for 30 years. So I would like to urge, Madam Chairperson, the provincial administration, to even develop a deliberate fast-track program to ensure that all those that are owning, peasant farming, small-scale farming, are given title. It is very expensive for an individual person to hire a surveyor to survey the land and later on get a survey diagrams and push for title. We are talking about people that are struggling with their day-to-day needs. I would like to urge the provincial administration, let's come up with a program that will make cheaper acquisition of title. With this move that we are going, even now, people getting loans for agricultural inputs, one can only be sure of what they want to do if they have security for the land where they are taking their farming inputs. So it is very, very critical, Madam Chairperson. People get displaced just because they don't have title, but they may have been on that land for so many years. It is so expensive. Provincial administration, through the chairperson, come up with a fast-track program for people to acquire titles on the farmlands, not to subject them to pay 15,000 just to bring a surveyor, and later on to get titles. It just hinders, and people continue in destitution. We need to improve agriculture on the Copperbelt, but first thing first, let's give them security to the land. The next thing I want to talk about, Madam Chairperson, is the water crisis that we have on the Copperbelt, especially the urban Copperbelt. The urban Copperbelt, starting from Undola all the way to Chirilabombwe. Majority of the people depend on water supplied by the water utility companies. But the problem we have is that, one, the infrastructure, which is more than 50 years, is unable to feed clean water to these households. Secondly, even the type of water that is supplied, the quality is not okay. Thirdly, the customers are overwhelmed with bills for water which they don't see coming in their homes. People keep receiving bills day in, day out. I do remember, Madam Chairperson, when we just came to Parliament, there was a motion that we moved urging cancellation of the water bills for the people that do not receive water and yet they keep being billed. That motion was defeated, but the problem still lives. Provincial administration, let us help our people deal with these high water bills. They have no problem paying for water which they are receiving, but they have a very big problem paying for water which they don't see. Even the hours that the water is supplied to these households, 2 hours out of 24 hours in a day, and yet the bills keep rising, keep rising. We need to assist our people by ensuring that all the bills that relate to water that has not been supplied are cancelled. And let the people start on a clean slate. They will support these companies. But where we are now, the Copperbelt is yearning access to clean water, is yearning supply of water 24/7.
Honorable member, if you can wind up, you've got less than a minute.
Thank you very much, Madam Chairperson. So I think, Madam Chairperson, without wasting that 1 minute, I can leave it to my colleague. I urge the provincial administration to look at these areas that I have discussed so that we can enhance life on the Copperbelt. I thank you, Madam Chairperson.
Mr. Mpundu.
Madam Chairperson, thank you so much. The role that the Copperbelt has played in building Zambia cannot be overemphasized. Madam Chair, the Copperbelt has gone through a very tough time owing to the challenges in the mining sector. I would want to think that it is time that we consider taking care of this hand that has been feeding this country. When we sit to appropriate funds to provincial administration, Madam Chair, is simply there to provide leadership. We can all agree that the funding of developments at the district level still comes from the main mother ministries. So provincial administration is basically there to provide leadership. I have served at district leadership myself. And I can remember how at some point we struggled to have resources to manage our activities in the district. We fought so hard, I think Honorable Siatsumo is agreeing with me, to have the little resources that our friends found in the district accounts. Now, Madam Chairperson, through you, let me urge the Minister of the Copperbelt. Your role, Minister, is to ensure that your officers, starting from provincial administration, going down to the districts, up their game in making sure that the developmental programs of government are undertaken without delays. Here we sit, we talk about and complain about the problems of CDF. It is acceptable, Chairperson, Madam Chairperson, that we can complain that we don't have resources. Not where we even have resources. Not where we even have money. This enhanced CDF is one of the two we can use at least to take a little development to places that are yearning for development. But we've been found wanting just on the aspect of failure to provide leadership. Minister of the Copperbelt, how I would love that your team, starting from provincial administration, your local government officer, can have a scorecard for CDF, for each constituency. Vankana, where are the projects that you submitted for implementation under CDF? How far have you gone, town clerk, in ensuring that this project, that project, that project? Because, Madam Chairperson, I have 5 projects in my constituency, 2 years down the line, that have not been started as we speak. What is a justification not to start building a clinic? I'm supposed to build a clinic in Kandabwe. 2 years down the line, even when resources are there. We are supposed to do a clinic in Uyando 2 years down the line. We are supposed to do roadworks in Mindolo and Buchi 2 years down the line. There is no justification why or how it would take us 2 years to implement government programs when resources are available. What does it tell you? Failure at leadership. Which is why I want to urge the Minister of the Copperbelt, please continue to supervise your subordinates. Your subordinates, sir, are busy galvanizing and positioning themselves to take over constituencies. They've forgotten their core responsibility to ensure that government implements its projects. There is no justification whatsoever. That is why when I talk about the need for the Copperbelt to be fed today, I am talking about the developmental deficiencies. Today, Chairperson, the road infrastructure on the Copperbelt is terrible. Like I was saying yesterday, it is very easy to do a gravel road in rural constituencies. If you do a gravel road in my community in Parklands, that's a recipe for insults. Those are busy communities where you cannot do a gravel road. The dust that will come, the dust emissions will subject you to insult. So we need at least for government to embark on a program to do township roads, because CDF may not manage to do such roads we expect in our communities. The biggest problem today in Kitwe, for instance, is water and sanitation. Honorable Minister, you are aware, in places like Buchi, there is a problem of sanitation. I know that government quickly went to Kwacha, where there was sanitation problems, and you found money which you called emergency funds to attend to that problem. But I want to report to you, that problem in Kwacha is a very recent problem. The problem of sanitation in Buchi has been there for many years. How I wish the same speed at which you attended to a problem in Kwacha, you can also attend to that problem in Buchi. Because otherwise, you risk being seen to be considering constituencies where you have MPs, and constituencies that have no MPs, you neglect them. The problem of water in Mindolo. Water is life, Minister of the Copperbelt. You are aware of the problem of water in Mindolo. I have been lamenting about the water problem in Mindolo, where Ankana Water gave me a quotation for 42 million. Madam Chair, 42 million will take me 3 years of CDF. That is why,
chairperson, or rather, by Minister of the Copperbelt, please don't leave it to me to continue lobbying for the people of Kitwe. Lobby for them. That is why we are appropriating this money, so that it can help you push government, because you sit with the president, you sit with the Minister of Finance. Help us push, because the very people in Kitwe, in Nkana in particular, are the people that enabled you to be minister today. The mining sector. The mining sector, chairperson, has gone through a very rough patch. Of course, we want to commend the efforts, or recognize the efforts. You have addressed the issue of KCM by Vedanta coming back, but there is still a lot of questions that have not been answered. Government has taken a very laissez-faire approach to attending to questions that are being raised by the members of the public in regards to these agreements you are signing. Today, there are reports that if you go down into the agreements of government versus Vedanta, there are a lot of gray areas. But you see, when such reports are being promulgated in the public, please attend to them. Respond so that we know the correct position, because you are leaving us to speculate. The mind feeds on what it hears and what it sees.
Order, Honourable Member. You've got less than a minute.
Thank you, Chair. Honourable Minister of the Copperbelt, Mopani, you have announced that you have found a prospecting investor. There is already a trouble in Quito where there is a report that you have already started employing. But the allegations are that this is secretly being done. Please come down and do the right thing, because people are looking up to you to provide leadership. So, as I reluctantly support this provision or this allocation to the Copperbelt province, I urge the minister, please, we need your leadership. Come down to the districts and see how your officers are performing. At Sokone Market, as we speak, there is a problem between district administration and the marketeers. Sir, come down to Kitwe and address that problem. Otherwise, it's putting you in bad light with those marketeers. Minister, I want to thank you.
The Honourable Minister for Copperbelt, please respond.
Thank you very much. Madam Chairperson, before I respond, I want to give a word of encouragement to the Copperbelt people because of the storm of a tragedy at Kasensele mine. I want to tell them and assure them that a storm is not permanent. A storm will pass. Yes. I also want to pass condolences to the family of the 11 of our brothers we buried after retrieving them from the tragic site. I also want to encourage them that fear is a bad spirit. We should not be taken by fear. It's a bad spirit. God never gave us a spirit of fear, but He gave us a spirit of love, power, and sound mind. Copperbelt will again come and will move where the Lord has arranged it to go. Chairperson, let me take the opportunity to thank all the honourable members of Parliament who have debated in this August House in support of the 2024 estimate of revenue and expenditure for the Office of the President, Copperbelt Province. Let me try to respond to some of the issues which have been raised by Honourable Member of Nkana, Honourable Bidwe Mpundu, Honourable Member from Frida, Honourable Mwila, and Honourable Washa for Chifogu. Starting with Honourable Mpundu, I want to refute the allegations that Mopani we've started employing. The situation is not like that. We just announced our equity partner, and I think what is remaining now is to do the signing ceremony. And I'm proposing that it should be done on the Copperbelt province. Thereafter, we will start those other issues. We are always methodical. We are not employing. With Vendetta, the signing was done. What is remaining now is to finish the court process of removing the liquidator and then putting in a board, and then we'll move. We are also methodic on that, and we'll definitely do the right thing. You talked about water and sanitation. It's important to take a walk into the past. I would have loved if my brothers, first of all, would have given us the reason why for 10 years, this was a problem when they were in office. They should have started from there. Because we are trying to correct what was the reason why they didn't give water to the people in Kitwe. And this is what we are trying to do. But let me announce that Nkana Water is busy trying to fix that problem. Money which was, they failed to find in 10 years, His Excellency and the team have found the money, and they are busy trying to fix the problem of water in Kitwe. And besides that, I want to announce through this August House that my brother knows that for the past 2 months, I literally work from Kitwe. I've worked with other MPs, like MP for Usakile, on the ground to check on the desk, to check on issues of water. And I've taken this issue, jumping guns, to His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Zambia. As we are waiting for Nkana Water to fix the problem of water in Kitwe, I want to announce that His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Zambia, has donated 20 boreholes to Kitwe to alleviate the problem of water. And I will be sitting down with my honorable MPs from the 5 constituencies to choose which places we are going to drill those boreholes starting this coming week. That is the water problem in Kitwe. The roads, I want to agree with my brother that if you look at the roads on the Copperbelt, you think there was war. I wanted him to also to say why they kept the country in that manner. In the 10 years, the so-called Chivuluma was like, I don't know. In 2 years, as I'm speaking, let's compare and contrast these issues. The contractor is on site, putting a concrete road from the robots just after Underbridge, all the way to Kitwe Teaching Hospital. And I have got a letter on my table where RDA decided to do 300 kilometers. A total of 300 kilometers, selected towns like Kitwe, Mufrila, Ndola, Chingola. So in short, I'm saying we will tackle the township roads, which they failed to do in 10 years. Let me not run away from the issue of road network. 2 years down the line, the road, which is an economic road, very important to Copperbelt, Lusaka and Ndola, the contractor is on site. The same contractor will do Masangano to Fisenge. If you want to go to Luansha from Ndola, you will take about 1 hour instead of 15 minutes. The same contractor will do the road from Tsenge into Luansha. If you go to Luansha now, you remember 2 years ago, someone went to plant a stem in town center. We've done town center almost 99%. Luansha has got a different face. That is this government. The long-awaited Mufrira Road, the contractor is on site. The previous government got 300 million kwacha without doing anything. When you come to Chingola Kasumbalesa Road, it's almost 99.99% complete. When you talk about Mpongwe Machia Road, it's on the cards. We'll be doing Mpongwe Machia Road. Irufanyama will be doing Kutuma Lumpuma Road. In short, in 2 years, we will tackle all the entire road network on the Copperbelt, which was not done the past 10 years. I want to agree with you when you talk about the niche at which the councils have been doing their work. I am the only minister who has summoned councils, town clerks, DCs, mayors for 2 times I think maybe the only thing I was missing is to call my fellow MPs to sit together. We've had a meeting to compare and find out why they've been moving at a snail's pace. And the issue of targets is already there. We'll be having our final meeting in the next 1 week. And that will be a third meeting. Let me tell you something. There must be a certain disease in councils, which was left by the previous government. I'm beginning to believe that there is a subordination going on. Those who don't believe in the vision of His Excellency President Hakainde Hichilema are making it impossible for us to move at a pace at which we are supposed to move. But that one will sort it out. We'll definitely sort it out. So I agree with you. Councils, they have to work according to the speed and the vision of His Excellency President Hakainde Hichilema and the New Dawn administration. So we'll definitely try to sit together. This time around, the next meeting, I'll call upon all our MPs on the Copperbelt so that we can sit together, compare the notes so that we see where the problem is. And I will send an invitation to you, Honorable Mpundu, so that you attend that meeting. I'm sure we'll sort it out together. Honorable Mwira, you talked about the title deeds. I agree with you 100%. We will try to move in that direction and push to have this title deeds. We are on the same page with you on that. When it comes to the mining sector, I think you talked about vendetta. I've talked about vendetta, but I want to compare and contrast on the mining sector. We are coming from an era where Copperbelt was completely dead. More than 30,000 jobs were lost. KCM was on its knees. Mopane was on its knees. Chambesh Metals closed. Luansha 28 shaft, no hope. Right now, as I'm talking to you, vendetta has been unlocked in 2 years. $1 billion to be injected. $250 million to be paid to the contractors and suppliers. 2,500, one pay off to the workers. More jobs to be created. In 2 years, Mopana has been unlocked. Equity partner found. Signing ceremony on the way. More jobs to be created. Luansha 28 shaft. $1.3 billion injected. Right now they are working. More jobs to be created. Mungomba mine. $150 million injected. More work. They are working right now. Compare and contrast it.
Honorable Minister. Honorable Minister.
Honorable Rubosha talked about Honorable Rubosha talked about the dump sites. Dump sites belongs to other people. We are negotiating, and shortly we will be giving them to youths. We don't want to grab them, but we don't want to. We want to negotiate, and we are doing that. Just a short look at the 2024 budget. The 2024 provincial budget will be implemented based on the 5 broad budget programs. Number 1, community development and social services. Chairperson, 26 million has been allocated to facilitate the provision of equitable social protection. Natural resources management, economic development, local government services, management and support services, as well as issues to do with the infrastructure. Madam Chairperson, this is where just a look at the budget for 2024 when it comes to Copperbelt province. After everything is said and done, His Excellency President Hakainde has a special place for Copperbelt in his heart. He promised them to fix Copperbelt. And for sure, he is fixing Copperbelt, looking at the infrastructure and the mining issues which are being sorted out. After 5 years, definitely his works will speak. He will win with a landless victory on the Copperbelt, and he will finish this story. Thank you so much. May God bless you.
Order, we now move to Western Province. is it very urgent? What is your point of order?
Thank you so very much, Madam Chairperson. I raise on this very, very serious point of order. Madam Chair, it's rare for me to rise on point of orders, but this one is very, very compelling. The point of order is on the Minister of Copperbelt. I wanted to find out, Madam Speaker, the Minister was saying he's comparing and contrasting. Is he in order? Not to mention, Madam Speaker, that in regards to the speech he was responding, the Honorable Member of Parliament for Nkana, who's former DC for Kitwe, mentioned that it will take 3 years in the current regime to raise the 42 million. Is the Honorable Minister in order not to mention that under their regime, it would have taken them 27 years for them to be able to raise that 42 million? I submit.
Order. That point of order is not admissible. You didn't cite the breach that the minister had committed. So we make progress. We are now looking at Western Province. The first honorable member to debate is Mr. Miutu.
Thank you, Madam Chairperson. This time we are not speaking for Karab Central alone. We are speaking for the whole of Western Province. And I would want to just to ask the people of Western Province to give me a second to thank the Honorable Minister for Copperbelt. But his statement has made me delighted. And it has, despite me not being a member of Copperbelt, but it has given me hope that Copperbelt will come back to life. Thank you very much, Honorable Minister. Thank you, Honorable Chair. Western Province. Western Province is a province full of resources. You know, sometimes when you represent others, you experience. So I'm full of experience of that place. However, Madam Speaker, the people of Western Province in 2021 voted wholesomely for the UPND. And it wasn't futile. It is for a reason. One of the reasons, which is as a result of that vote, the completion of the Kafue Hook Bridge. We were exposed to that temporal bridge for a long time. I wouldn't want to mention that, but they know that the former government who ruled us, they exposed us to that temporal bridge, which was meant for a short time. But it took many, many years. What has happened from the vote, UPND New Dawn? Right now, we are crossing on the real actual bridge. So thank you very much for UPND New Dawn for completing that bridge. The road to Limulunga, it used to be dusty. Even at the time when the current state president, His Excellency, was in that case, purported case of treason, it was on a dust road leading to the palace. And therefore, we have been swallowing that dust, coughing here and there. What has happened from the vote? Today you are able to drive from Mongu to the lowest point. Honorable Anakoka, that place is called what? Jouten, which is the last part of the road leading to the palace. That is a compliment to the UPND. No more dust. Right now, we are waiting for the signing of the Tateoyo Katunda turn-off stretch. You know, that's why I tell people in Kalava that those who go to that place, the holy place, are few. No, Madam Chairperson, I haven't mentioned any place, so I cannot be accused of anything. I just said that holy place. I didn't say any place. You need to love others. You need to love others. Shalom had stopped going to Mongu. Many bus fleets had stopped flowing to Mongu. It was full of dust. Vehicles were breaking down from Tateoyo. It used to take us, Madam Chairperson, 2 hours from Tateoyo to Kaoma.
Order. Honorable members, please let's avoid the points of order if we want to finish on time. The Honorable Mr. Mutale, you have a point of order.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, Standing Order 65 is very clear that we must be very factual. Madam Speaker, the people listening out there, they would want to know what the Member of Parliament is referring to when he says that place there which is very hot. Madam Speaker, may he clarify what that place is? I seek your reading, Madam Speaker, because we are also interested to know. Is it in order, Madam Speaker, to state a place without a name? Madam Speaker, I need your serious ruling.
The member on the floor, is it possible that you can be very factual and maybe make the people understand you so that maybe we don't know that place whether it's dangerous or not, so that the people can have an idea of that place? That place hasn't got a name. Please try to be factual and be very specific so that we'll be able to move at the same level.
Honorable Chairperson,
you may continue, Honorable.
To avoid any dispute, there's a place which is called a holy place. There is, in that book, it is called a holy place. You see, I know the book which is stating the holy place where holy people will go and live in form of spirit. If he needs a lecture, Honorable Chairperson, I can give him a lecture.
Honorable member, I think please just answer and proceed. We are behind time.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Let me just, before my time ends, Madam Speaker, we are crying in Western over, one, the Kazungula-Sesheke Road. It needs to be brought back to life. We need bituminous there. I know there has been this patching of gravel, but we are going into the rain season, and I'm sure that gravel will be washed away. So it will still go back to the old bad road. The Smungoma-Luampa Road is a cry of the people of Mlobezi and Mandi. The Kasempa Road also, which is in purported PPP, we would want it expedited. Coming to Fanyamba, the Karabus-Congo Road, which is to join Zambia to Angola. Angola is a potential market, so we are eagerly waiting for that road to be put to a bituminous level. The Katunda, Lukulu, Watopa, Mumbeji Road. That road has never seen bituminous in its life. And it would be a good time for the UPND New Dawn to prove its own self
by placing bituminous on that road, which has been a cry for the people for a long time. Madam Speaker, there's need for a bridge on the Zambezi Road, the Zambezi River, to connect Lukulu to Mitete. Right now, they are using a pontoon which easily breaks down, and there's need for continuous supply of fuel. Madam Chairperson, there's need also to enhance on the communication, the phones in the villages. The Zamtel, which is very common in Western Province, we need enhancement of internet connectivity. Many areas in Western Province still have a problem of phone connectivity. So there's need, Honorable Minister, that they enhance the construction of communication towers to cover up most of the rural areas which have known phones no more. So that is one of our cries, connectivity on phones. Finally, Madam Chairperson, let me request those who are responsible for approving projects for CDF, let them act. I don't want to tell these words to those people, but they should know that we are here for development. Money is there in the account. It takes time for these projects to be approved. I always tell them that you people who don't approve these things in time, you are against the statement by the head of state. So, you know, Madam Chairperson, when projects are not approved, who is to be blamed? It's the member of parliament. Because these people in the villages, they don't know the CS, they don't know the planner. All what they know is the councillor and the MP. So we have earnestly urged these people to approve these projects so that people receive the service. We have cried, we should be heard. With these few words, Madam Speaker, let me conclude by saying we wholesomely support the head for Western Province and wish Western Province a happy, prosperous, and festive period. Thank you, Madam Chairperson.
Thank you, Mr. Mwene.
Thank you very much, Madam Chairperson, for according the good people of Mangango to make a very nice contribution to the head for Western Province. Madam Chairperson, I would just like to give you a very good advice to the Provincial Minister or Provincial Administration to work hand in hand very collaboratively with the other ministries to speed up all developmental activities in Western Province. For example, working very well or reminding each other with the Minister of Mines to do very good explorations of minerals in Western Province can be of greater help to our people in Western Province. We cannot completely say that the Western Province has no single mineral. They are there. But there hasn't been any special explorations. So, Provincial Minister, please work with the Minister of Mines closely so that we can create good jobs for our people in Western Province. Again, working very closely with the Minister of Energy can be something very good. I can see the Minister of Energy is there listening to me very well. You know, Angola is very near here, and there is oil there. Provincial Minister, please collaborate with this minister so that we can be having oil pass through Western Province coming into Zambia so that our cost of living can come down because of dropped prices of fuel, which will be coming in here, passing through Western Province. Maybe we can even have a very good refinery in Western Province there. It can create very good employment for our people. We have got a lot of land for such kind of infrastructure development in Western Province.
Yeah.
Provincial Minister, the other thing that I would like to talk about is making sure that in these our public offices, our civil servants are not politicking. We don't want politicking in public offices. Civil servants should just do their job as civil servants and not start joining politics. This has been noticed in various offices in Western Province. May you please talk to your provincial administration to go down and really make sure that our public officers are not politicking. There are others that may still have been associated with some certain political parties here and there, and hence when developmental activities are coming, they are trying to sit on them, delaying approving projects, delaying this and that. Provincial Minister, we don't need this. If such is to be noticed, or as it has been noticed, please, can you take action as our administrators at provincial level? Not only that, the provincial chairperson, I know my brother has talked about the bridge on Zambezi there. I also would like to to echo on the bridge that is supposed to be at Watopa there, where we are connecting Western and Northwestern Province. We work collaboratively with my elder brother, also the Northwestern Province Minister. Please, that bridge is very important because as it is on the Zambezi River by Rukulu there is a pontoon. Even that side there is also a pontoon. So if we are to connect with the bridge there, we are going to smoothen our mobility and movement to and from Northwestern provinces. This, we feel, the people of Western Province is very important to us, and I believe even the people, our brothers and sisters from Northwestern Province, who want to migrate to come into, who want to move to come into Western Province, this is the most important bridge also to add on to. Provincial Minister, may I also echo, Western Province is one of the provinces maybe that has received a few tribal differences. Please, provincial administration, may you kindly unify us, all of us, regardless of the tribe that we come from. You unify us, you bring us together, because in Western Province, that's the place where you find all tribes living together. Mbunda, Luvale, Lozi, Chokwe, Ruchazi, Lundas, they are all there. So if we start looking at each other on tribal lines, then we shall be missing it. May you please bring us together. Provincial administration, please bring us together, unify us, and so that we become a solid one Zambia, one nation. Because should we look at each other on tribal lines, we shall really be divided, and no development will ever come. Always we shall just be talking about each other on tribal lines, which is not needed. Because I know this has caused the problems so far already in Rwanda, the Hutus and the Tutsis. Such has happened. So we have already seen an example in Africa on tribal differences. So please, 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 may you bring us together, unify us. We are one people in Western Province. We have grown up living. This village is for Elozi, the next village is for Eluvale, the other village is for Kwangwa, the other village is for Nkoya, the other village for Elunda, and so on. And that's how we have lived. That's how we have produced our children. We have intermarried amongst ourselves. So to see people fighting, like the fight that I saw in Western Province of some people, in Kaoma, of some people fighting, that is not necessary, because we are one. Please, 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 unify us, bring us together. We are one people. That's the only way we can develop. So, Provincial Minister, please, I know you have got all the potential and the capacity to do that, and you have done it before, and you will do it with your provincial administration. If possible, even in these public offices, may you, to balance up, if this position has been taken up by this, maybe for example, just for an illustration, for illustration's sake, maybe this position has been taken up by a particular tribe, the next position to be taken up by another tribe. For example, if the chairperson is Kwangwa, the next chairperson can be Luvale, the vice chairperson can be Luvale, The other vice chairperson maybe can be the other vice chairperson can be Mbunda and so on. That is going to unify and concretize our living in Western Province. So with these few remarks, Madam Chairperson, I want to say thank you so much and support this budget for Western Province, because this is the only way to go and it's the only one that can bring development in our land. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Mr. Wamunyima.
Thank you very much, Madam Chairperson. Madam Chairperson, for the last 20 years, Western Province and Luapula have been exchanging statistics of being the poorest provinces in this country. Today, Western Province, numbers don't lie, based on Zamstats, records poverty levels between 84 and 89%. This province, Madam Chairperson, one of the poorest provinces in this country, is a province which was the richest province at independence, with over 78.5 million pounds in the Barotseland treasury, taken to what was then Northern Rhodesia to form Zambia. Madam Chairperson, I would like to, from the onset, say I support this budget, but I'll quickly say that we have been promised by successive governments since independence, and none have delivered. None have delivered. Because if governments have been delivering in Western Province, we would not sit today bragging to be one of the poorest provinces. So we are urging the new Dawn government, through the provincial minister, that the people of Western Province want development. And therefore, we start. They say Sheke Kazungula Road. We do not want a gravel road. We want a bituminous standard road. That is the only road that links Western Province to Europe via Walvis Bay. So we will not accept a gravel road there. We want a bituminous road. We are the only province who should be told a gravel road is a good road. It's not we need a bituminous road. Congo-Angola road. We need that road to be done to connect Western Province to trade with Angola. The Sioma-Shangombo road as well. We need that road. Sioma National Park needs artificial dams to stop human-animal conflict. Elephants are following water in people's villages. And this is an exodus, Honorable Chairperson, an exodus of over 800 elephants are wandering around Sioma, Shangombo, Nalolo, over 800 elephants. So the issue of human-animal conflict needs to be addressed by addressing the climate issues in Western Province. And even the service delivery and development must be climate smart. We are having blown off infrastructure because we have a lot of plains. We need infrastructure that is climate resilient. Therefore, even these people work at departments of building in Western Province, they must begin thinking how they can make this infrastructure climate resilient. A lot of districts were pronounced under the PF government in Western Province, and those districts have still incomplete infrastructure. Mitete Civic Center, incomplete. Mitete Boarding School, incomplete. Nalolo Boarding School, incomplete. And last year, in last year's budget, through you, Madam Chairperson, and this is directly the Minister of Finance, there was a commitment to complete all stored hospitals. And Nalolo District Hospital is still stored, not complete. So we need to look at this, because when you look at Mitete, Mitete is the poorest district in Western Province. And when you go there, there are areas where you can't use your phone. How can you be in Zambia, you can't use your phone? We need to have communication towers. And this is not a matter, it's a matter of agency, Madam Chairperson. We have issues to do with farming blocks. We were told about the Kalumwange farming block. We don't know if that has been operationalized. And by and large, Western Province roads to anywhere else outside Western Province are completely bad. If you talk of the Kasempa Kaoma, it's a bad road. If you talk about the road in Lukuru there, the Katunda road, bad. So we don't know what has been wrong for these years, where a province is completely disconnected. So we need to address this. The only time that we'll be singing praises to the new Dawn government is when these roads will be done. And when these new districts, which were being pronounced at the speed of lightning that there shall be a district, we need offices, complete office infrastructure. Limulunga district is a new district. The infrastructure there is not complete. And also, we need to address issues of hunger. Currently, there's extreme hunger in Western Province. The rains were bad last year, and we are struggling to get relief maize. So we need to address these issues. And when you look at the levels of hunger, Western Province, based on some stats, records over 78% of hunger, extreme hunger among its people. Therefore, we would like provincial administration to put up a strong case of why Western Province is not being prioritized in receiving relief food. Why aren't we being prioritized in receiving relief food? There is tala, kuna ni tala, valila tala. Meaning there's hunger, people are crying hunger. In commending the government for the stretch between Tateyoyo and Katunda, that is a good landmark. We hope that this road is not patching up. We hope that this is becoming a standard. And also the agriculture approach in Western Province needs to change. Prioritizing rice farming and cassava, we do not grow maize. So even the distribution of FISIP must be well thought, and the fertilizer that goes there must take into consideration the scientific status of the soil, which is sandy. Therefore, there we need biodegradable fertilizer. If we just send ordinary fertilizer in Western Province, I can assure you it will be going out through Angola. It will be sold through these border posts, because if we receive FISIP, which is destructive to the soil, so we need to address and promote rice processing. We are told that through Angola, we want to do a pipeline for oil up to Lusaka. We want the refinery to be in Western Province. We just don't want a pipeline passing through, leaving jobs. And if we don't have electricity, bring electricity there. The Mulovezi rail line needs to be upgraded. We cannot be relying on road transport when the roads are bad. So all these factors, Madam Chairperson, need to be seriously considered. Issues to do with bringing a better breed of cattle in the province. This is urgent. It is urgent. We have the pasture, we have the water. Let us address all the mitigating factors that are stopping us from enhancing. There's a lot that can be said about Western Province, but sufficient to say that we are looking forward for the new Dawn government to change the narrative of Western Province being one of the poorest provinces in this country. We want Western Province to begin having factories, value addition of rice, value addition of cassava, and indeed the Siomangwezi National Park needs to be an icon of tourism. When you see the Siomangwezi Falls, it's one of the most beautiful falls in this country. But for you to get there, Madam Speaker, Madam Chairperson, it's really a hassle. With these few remarks, I would like to support this budget. Thank you very much.
Thank you. The Honorable Minister for Western Province, please respond.
Thank you, Madam Chairperson, for the opportunity to respond to the three colleagues who have volunteered to speak on behalf of the fraternity, Honorable Miyutu, Mwene, and Wamnyima, and the supported head 94. Madam Chairperson, when we were in the opposition, we used to say we would come and fix all the ills of this country, and this government is fixing all the ills of the past. Firstly, I would like to thank, on behalf of the province, the Minister of Finance, because since we came into power, what we have seen is that the budget for the province, and indeed for all provinces, has been going up, even for this year. So we thank them very much. And also, what is appropriated here is actually received in the provinces, including Western Province. So that shows capacity and the difference between performance and incompetence. Secondly, I would like to thank the line ministries for the efforts they have put in the province, just like they are putting in other provinces. Coming to the specific issues which have been raised, I will start with the Honorable Miyutu. We appreciate that he has given the government a pat on the back for completing projects which are visible. When we were in the opposition, we used to say the first project we shall do is a Kafue Hook Bridge, because that's a gateway to the Western Province. What other people failed to do in more than 8 years, this government has done it in 15 months. The Murunga Road also has been done, and this is Nakatindi Road, which is the Livingstone Sesheke. This government has put in money to do repairs. It used to take 7 hours to go to Livingstone. Now it's taking 2 hours. The difference of 5 hours is the work which this government has put in that road. Correct. And also, we are in the process of finding funding to bring back the road to bitumen standard. So on our side, we'll not be talking about it because we know that work has already been done and is being done. And this is why you don't see people talk about it now anyway, because we are almost back to the old system. There's a road from Kasempa to Luampa to Simungoma, which Honorable Miyutu mentioned. There have been expressions of interest which were made, to which the government has responded to, and the idea is that to do that road via PPP. So all things being equal, we'll see how that road will come out. This government is committed to do the Skongo, Stulu Road, and our partners from the other side will bring the road to our side. So we are in the process of looking for funding to do that part of the road. Madam Speaker, Madam Chair, my constituency is in Keyema, and this Tateyoyo road up to Gatunda, part of the west part of the road is in my constituency. And obviously, if we are fixing everything else and everywhere, and all the MPs pass through that road, do they need to be reminded every day? I'm now addressing colleagues who keep on talking like the MPs from that part of the country don't see or don't know where they come from. So I'm using this platform to communicate to them that that's where we live, that's where we come from, and so we probably use those roads much more frequently than the others. But we are listening, and we are putting things in place. We also used to say in the opposition that our government is not a government which makes promises easily and falsely, if you like. We make them because we intend to carry them out, bearing in mind that we are here for service, not for self-aggrandizement. So, Coming to Mr. Wamunyima, it's true that this government has operationalized the Kalumwange farm block, and we are going to upscale the activities in the new year. But the success of that program depends on we, the locals. This government now, we are saying we should move away from complaining about hunger when there's land, to come to where we are in terms of Kalumwange farm block. It required a lot of nimble-footed people to do that. And obviously, the local people also in Western Province, they need to have a reflection in the way we welcome or embrace development. The same issue applies to rice. We are talking about rice. Yes, we used to say we will bring knowledge, skills, and technology, but maintain the same land holdings. And this is what we've done. We found a partner to do all that. But the extent to which rice growing will or productivity will come up to the required standard is dependent upon the local people, not the government, because the government has done its part. The other thing, Mr. Chair, relates to the districts where they were pronounced, there were 9 of them. But then when it came to putting infrastructure, our colleagues just turned their backs on us. But this government has started doing what our colleagues should have finished. Why has it taken time? It's because in almost all these new places, we found that there was a lot of money which was owed, and the contractors had run away. And so the first thing which was done was first to pay them back and then to allow them to come back. So at the moment, we have contractors in 5 of those districts. The other 4, we are still trying to resolve the issues. Going forward in the new year, the key projects we have is to complete the uncompleted buildings, including the hospitals. The work on the 22 secondary schools will start now in earnest, and the part of the secondary schools which were mentioned here, like Rivonda and so on, work actually has started in earnest. Some of the buildings have been completed. And so we say the people of Western Province are very happy now, because even the social cash transfer, which we found at 77,000, now is at 156,000 in 2 years. So you ask to say, the Minister of Community Development, how did she achieve this? That is what we want to see. And some of these things, they are softer issues, they are not visible to the eye, but they are very important. So the same thing goes for the vaccination of all cattle in Western Province for CBPP, which the Ministry of Fisheries and Livestock has done. It's done and finished. We'll go for the next lot. And when that is done, then we can talk about the cattle restocking. And how many governments have done that since independence? Probably 0. And we are putting back the cordon line. The cordon guards are being recruited. So